Hi, I'm DJ the Money Coach. I have a few quick questions for you. What do the Federal Reserve Bank, the YMCA, the Montgomery Regional Airport, the state of Illinois, the state of Michigan, and 25,000 other people have in common with me? You know what? I've helped all of them achieve the pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. I'm going to teach you in this exclusive webinar 5 secrets to wealth and the common sense strategy to achieve the American dream. And all you have to do is hit that link below and come to this free webinar. I'm going to teach you in 30 days how to guarantee you to become consumer debt free, have an 800 credit score, earn a 6-figure passive income, and pay off your home in 7 to 10 years early. And all you have to do is hit that link below, and you too can have the pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. Come join us on the Beaches of the World Club. Hit that link, and I'll see you on the webinar.
All right. Hey there, everybody. What's going on? What's good? Welcome to another episode of Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy, brought to you by the 7 Spheres of Money. Thank you for joining us for another powerful show with another important topic here. And before we get into that topic, go ahead and like the video, share it, and subscribe to the 7 Spheres of Money. You know, we just got over the hump of 700 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000. So help us get there by subscribing, sharing it, and telling all your folks to subscribe as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the show. So DJ, what are we talking about tonight?
Oh man, tonight is a very important topic. But first and foremost, we want to say welcome back to our sage Counsel, who counsels all of us. And it's been a while. We missed him, and we're so glad to see him back. That everybody say welcome back and hello to our Ron Harris, the Godfather.
Well, I appreciate all the accolades that you're giving me, Dale. And like I said, I sort of miss talking to the fellas and all of us getting together and sharing our opinions and our experience with a lot of people out there in the world. And that's why, it's black men taking things to another level. And I'm so proud of who we are because in my lifetime, we've proven to the world that we're probably some of the most powerful, intelligent, creative innovators. Got the good heart and got a little spiritual life behind us that has made us even stronger and till we weather storms that comes after us. And I'll be able to do what I can to make things better for us all. I just want to share and care, and I'm glad to be back on the scene.
Absolutely. We are happy and fortunate and privileged always to have you in our presence, Ron, and is glad to know that you're in great health as well, because we got to give you your flowers while you're here, and we want to make sure you know that you're loved, you're honored, and you're respected by us. 100 grand, brother. So I appreciate you, Godfather.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. I mean, we have me and the Godfather. We have a lot of good times together. I mean, I don't know if I've ever had a bad time hanging out with the Godfather.
We've had great times, and I mean, like even at the studio, that's one of the things that I'll miss. But everything moves on, and I see some brighter things ahead. I had to really focus. That's why another thing, because usually when things change with me unexpectedly, because everything that we do is tied into a network. And then sometimes when the network is disturbed, I mean, especially very suddenly, like then you have to regroup. Because like when you get disconnected, although it might be for a short period of time, it can thanks to things. But God is good. And that's what we're talking about, our spiritual side tonight. I like that because, like I said, I think we're going to all be able to offer something very valuable to those out there that may not have the experience or may not have that faith. And you need both of them, really, to overcome. Because, like I said, the bigger you get, I mean, people get jealous of you, and it's a shame because, the blessings I've had and things I've been able to really achieve, not only did I try to accumulate them for myself, but also to share with my friends. And I think that most of the people know me. That's, I'm not never trying to take, but if I got a little bit I could give, I'm no problem with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the reasons why I think this is very important because a lot of times, black men project these facades of being so strong, so unpenetratable, and nothing affects them. They don't have emotions and things like that. And I think that comes to harm us. Now, and I'm not talking about these beta males who are effeminate. I'm talking about real black men who are the foundation of our society and our community because we live in a patriarchal society. But when you look outside right now, you think it was a matriarch society. And if you don't like what I'm saying, hey, again, I'm going to tell you, go take a long walk off a short pier. Because if you are having problems in your family and you don't have a real man as the focal point of the family, you might want to, reassess the situation. So with that said, tonight's topic is very important because it's about how to stay quiet and faithful during storms of life to receive the bountiful blessings, because you either going into a storm or coming out of a storm, even though you don't realize that. And in every aspect of life, you're either coming into a storm or going out of a storm. And so we've had some challenges, and a lot of times we don't talk about that because we might think that that's not manly. But the reality is like Godfather Ron said, you have a network. And if you've been through a storm for the first time, then it can be very catastrophic. It can be unsettling, and you don't know what to do, and you have a tendency to panic. But the reality is that we've been through multiple storms, and a lot of times the storms come unexpectedly, and that's when it really shows what your real character is. Show me a man who actually is worth something. I'll show you that man and how he deals with the storms, not with the prosperity, because anybody can do well, happy, and smiling and having a good time when everything is going right, because that's easy. But how do you respond when things don't go your way? When the adversary is coming at you, and the reason why the adversary is coming at you, Ron and Nick, is because you're doing the right things to get away from him. And if you're not doing the right things, he ain't worried about you. He already got you trapped. So we've had, in the past 90 days, a couple of things that happened to the Godfather, a couple of things that happened to us. And I think it's important for people to see that there is vulnerability, but we know how to stay focused. We know how to stay quiet, and we know how to get counsel from those who can help us out. And that's one of the bases of this program, Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. And we bring it to you from 4 different generations, from the Godfather to me, to Nick, to my son. So that's 4 generations of black men represented. In this way, you can reach up and you can reach down, you can hold yourself. So there's that one powerful art picture where they have a strong black arm reaching down, lifting a strong black arm up. And that's what today's show is about. So, I want to, unpeel and bring back the the curtain, and show some people about, how we actually handle these things and how we actually get the right support system, the right encouragement, and how important that is to stay focused on your plan and don't panic, because there's urgency and there's emergency. And then you have to have discernment on which one you are, endeavoring right now. So I'm gonna start off myself. So last month, one day I wake up and I hear this big boom. It's maybe like 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Yep, woke up because I'm a late night person. And since I do own myself, I don't have to get up at dark 30 to answer anybody other than my 2 daughters, who I'm their 24/7, 365 chauffeur. So I do have that job that I don't get paid for, that I chauffeur them to school every morning at dark 30. So I hear this loud boom, right? So I'm looking around trying to figure out what it is. And I just happen to look out my back window, and my whole half of my fence, because we have these wood picket fences that separate us between our neighbors, and we have a shared, picket fence in between. So the fence collapsed. It collapsed. Now I look at the fence, Ron and Nick, and I notice that there's this big old school-sized high school chalkboard attached to the fence, which is a violation of the deed restrictions in our community. And the other thing I looked at is that, that neighbor never even came over and said, hey, DJ, I got 2 little daughters and they want to do some chalk drawing and stuff outside. And I know we share this fence, between each other. Do you mind if I put this large chalkboard on the fence? No, never gave me the courtesy of doing that, right? So now the fence is totally collapsed. And, so I go across, say, hey, the fence, and I know you got this chalkboard. And immediately that person starts to hemming and hawing. Oh, the fence was old and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, just basic physics tell me that chalkboard, which should have never been on there, contributed to the collapse of the fence. The fence might have been 10 years old, but the reality is I just had some repairs done to the fence. And my guy is actually a fence expert. And he would have told me that I need to, remove that whole section. But he told me I didn't. He said my fence was probably good for another year or two. So I explained this to the person, and they were like, well, we can split the cost. I said, so why should I split the cost with you when it's not my problem? And immediately this person goes into Becky mode. So, code. So if you don't know what that is, she started telling me about all her problems. Oh, I'm divorced. Oh, I got 2 kids. I got 1 income. Oh, woe is me. I live in this really nice, affluent, middle-class community, but I can't take care of myself. How you expect me to pay for this fence that I put that big-ass chalkboard on? I said, you know what? I'm going to call my guy. He's going to give me a quote. You know what? You're going to be responsible about 70, 80% of it. I shouldn't have to pay anything, but you're going to be responsible. So I just walked off. Now, then I go back in the house, Ron and Nick, and then my phone is blowing up. It's our boy Clarence, property manager of some of my properties, in Detroit. And lo and behold, hey, guess what, bro? Today is that day. What's going on? Man, your sewer is completely shot. It's all the way to your backyard and just happened. Don't touch the city line. It's all your responsibility. And unfortunately, it's going to be about $4,500. Man, okay. Wow. So that hits. So right now, man, I'm looking at like $5,000 worth of damages that typically somebody would just be like all out. But you know what? I didn't like the fact that it happened, but I had to deal with it. And before I made a reactionary mode, you know what I did? I picked up the phone and I called my elders. I called people who were in real estate and said, hey, how do I handle this? Then I called, friends of mine. I called, my ex-wife, and I asked her, hey, how should I handle this Becky? Because I don't want to be bothered. So instead of me lashing out, panicking, I stayed quiet. I sought counsel. I got that counsel. And in the midst of doing that, that wasn't really the major challenge that I was having to overcome, because Nick and I know we had an even bigger challenge to overcome. We had a major hit in our business, that would have sidetracked and closed down probably 90% of business that had happened. So I'm dealing with that as well. And I'm just trying to say, okay, what's the lesson? What are we doing right that got the adversary coming at us so hard? And from my experience, been on this planet for 5 decades, I know that generally these things come in threes. So I'm just saying, okay, boom, boom. But I'm looking at the dreams, the plans that we have set, that we're moving real rapidly towards. And I said, well, there's a huge blessing about to come. And I got to figure out why and what is the message. So I did the 3 things that I do. Number 1, I sought advice from my elders who were, business leaders. I sought advice from my elders who were leaders in my community. And then I sought spiritual advice. And then I took all that advice in, like you sit around at a round table, like we talk about in the 7 spheres of money. And then I made a wise decision, because I knew as long as I wasn't hurt, nobody in my family was physically hurt. These are just money issues of inconveniences. I don't like them, but I knew that they could be handled in the right way, judiciously, where everybody comes out smelling like a rose. And a lot of times before, maybe 20 years ago, I would immediately went off the deep end, because I would have been blaming, I would have been mad, I would have been irate. And then when the Becky come up with her lame story, I probably would have, had a reactionary, but I don't do that. But it would have, you know what I'm saying? Because you think that everybody's coming at you, and then you look at what's happening in society, And then you go back and you look at the video of the last time you were in a storm that came unexpected, because I don't know any storms that we project and expect for the weather forecast, and they're usually wrong with those that we can handle from a business standpoint. And I know Ron, you had some major things going, but that's the way I first look at things, and then I look at if I'm on the right track to what God has in store for me, then I know these are basically messages of good things to come. That's the way I look at it. But I'll be honest with you, 2 decades ago, I would have looked at it completely opposite, and I would have been in straight fight mode, and I'm going to attack what's attacking us. And that's generally where we don't have the resources, we don't have the counsel to reach out to, because we got to always show this bravado. We're unpenetratable, nothing affects us. And that's the worst thing that you can do in these times of challenges during these storms, so that you don't thwart your blessings, because it's a test at the end of the day, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna pass it over to the Godfather, or to Nick, and get you guys initial perspective.
Well, like I said, Dale, I mean, lately I've had some things that I had to deal with. They were challenging because, like I said, they were sort of unexpected, especially when you're plan for something like that not to happen in your life. And, I've been around for a while. I've had quite a bit of success in my life, and I've had some times that it was really tight. And like I say, Dale, it's all about how you deal with the problems, because I'm going to tell you, man, when it comes unexpectedly, like some things that's happened to you in your life, we tend to say, well, why? Why now? I mean, because if you have a good heart, and like I said, you got a good spiritual side about you, not only by just saying it is, but also showing that you are who you say you are, because with the things you do and how you treat other people. And that's what kind of hit me, because I said, damn, at this stage of my life, everything is clicking. Credit is good. The business is coming along, things are happening. And, then things hit. But like I say, Dale, it affected me because like I said, I thought I had got beyond certain things. Why is this happening now? Why now? After all this time and the planning and execution that we go through to make sure it doesn't. But there's a lot of things going on out here in the world today. I mean, spiritual-wise, you got people now, man, that's trying to make lies the truth. And that's why our government and everything is so out of control, because the little guy, they're screwing him, and he doesn't have a clue about what's going on right now. People telling him, well, the economy is good, but inflation is kicking butt right now. I don't know if people realize that, but everything is going up so visible that little guy is really getting scratched. And it's not really so much, and I know it affects African Americans even a little bit more because we've been around, but it's kicking ass with white people like never before, man. And they just don't quite understand, because you got so many of them making billions. I was just listening today, man. Leon Musk, man. Worth $300 billion. $300 billion. One person. I remember, man, when they had 700 billionaires throughout the world, and I thought that was all that. But I don't want to go off into that because you get to a tangent. Let's get back to the faithful side of it. Like I said, man, I thank God that I've been blessed to deal with things. I might let it, but I just, sit down and think about it at peace, get at peace, and do a little meditation with ourselves and be thankful for what we've been blessed to do. And I said, you know what? I can get past this, because thank God I have the resources to do it, but I just don't like to be disturbed when I know I've planned right and I've been doing the things that's been working, and all of a sudden you get crazy on me. Now, we can fault them too, and a little bit like you said, Dale, like even your neighbor, man, with the fence. She knew that she was putting weight on it, that it might come down if she had any, but she's a woman, so she may not known that all this weight's going to bring this fence down. But when it did, and I know she may not have the money, because a lot of people really don't. But she can say, well, Dale, what I'll do, I'll give you some installments and stuff like that or whatever, kind of solve this, because we are neighbors. And Dale, but like I said, man, that's one thing I really missed about you and Nick and some of the other guys, Ron, and other people that was, we was talking about things, because see, sharing our knowledge and also some of the connections that we had that people really don't do, that they should really share more of their connections with their friends, and we can alleviate a lot of the downsides of what's happening. Because see, our counterparts, white boys, are doing so well because of the network that they've been able to build, and they built it without anything stopping them in front of them. And I ain't envying that, and I'm not. But I know one thing about it: we've done pretty well too. But then when I see that they've had the head start, and that's where it is. But if you let that get you down, well, man, they got it all, and I can't do this because of the fact that it's working against me. Because see, money don't make the man; it's the man that makes the money. And because a lot of people have billions and trillions, doesn't make them any bigger or better than we are. Because we all know time that told us who we are, because we've been able to do some things that we've been proud of, and other people around us are giving us accolades about and give you the propers that, hey man, you've done well, and I appreciate that. But I never let that go to my head and think, well, I'm the best. No. What goes to my head, I got some good people around me that's bad. And so that's the key. So I don't want to be around no weak ass people, Give me that strength of guys that have, and everybody, some people don't matter have their spiritual side. I'm not knocking what you have, but it's how you treat me. See, because God is good. And as long as you're good with me and this, that, and your shortcomings that you have, I'm not going to hold that against you, because that's coming into my life to disturb what we're trying to establish as a relationship. And if we don't let trouble get in the way of what we're doing, then we tend to deal with people around us. When the trouble show up, we got to find a way to alleviate that. Because like I said, that could take you down, man. I'm feeling, but I got past. I said, because, like I said, I've never been treated that way. Disrespectable with business people. We can't sit down and talk about the problems that we're having together. What kind of thing is this? And when you lose that integrity about you saying that you're in business, you're saying that, we take care of things, and then when I come to you and ask you, let's sit down and negotiate something, you don't even want to do it. Blew my mind. Here's so-called big white boys got it going on, and they can't come to the table, let's talk. I said, what? This is ridiculous. Don't even want to talk because they know they're wrong. Because I took care of them for 10 years straight. You take care of people, you expect to come on back and take. That's just the good spiritual way to doing things. And it's very easy. Just be good. If you're good, really like the evil things, stay away from good people. Now that negative thing come on you when you bring a whole lot of negative vibes to you. But when the sun is shining, you're bright, and people can see in you, man, when things are going on, because your body language and all that speaks for itself. And that's what has made us men who can contribute and sit down and talk about things that has value to it. Because if there's no value to it, we all can sit down and be talking, and we all know that's what we're doing. But don't take your value. You got to take your values to the business when you go there, and bring your good values. Don't come there being slick and all that. Don't want to handle. It's unnecessary. But Nick, let me get with you, man, because I know you're the young man here at the show. I don't want to dominate or whatever, but I love being around men like you who are coming along and really focusing on something that has a lot of value to it, that you'll be able to use it later on in your life. And
this is better words never been spoken. So we want to do, Ron, is we want to pick up from there. We want to take a quick break and come back and break down and give our audience some tips of what they can actually, apply during these times to actually get through. And based on what Ron said, having your heart, being a good person. So, that makes most importantly is to, have the resources and to apply them. So you're watching Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy, and make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And we'll be right back after the words from our sponsors. Here we go. We live in the lifestyle, making it happen. The dream is real. I'm here with my number one guy on the planet, man that makes everything happen. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here enjoying this awesome vacation. That's friendship right there. think it's 10, 12 years.
Yes, sir.
So let me tell you guys, only 4 things you got to do. It's real simple. Number 1, you got to have discipline. Number 2, you got to actually be accountable. Number 3, you got to plug into a system. I don't know what system you have, but you got to plug into a system. And then the most important thing is you got to do the work, baby. Because this right here, this is 36 months, 5 years to actually have it the right way and do it right where it doesn't go away. And it's actually me and my homeboy, this is the second time in a row that we've come here last year and this year, and it only gets better with time. So also remember this, guys. If you master the hard things in life, as you get older, life gets very easy. If you master the easy things in life and try to shortcut the shortcut, life gets extremely hard. And I'm going to be honest with you, it almost becomes hell because you have not built the right foundation and you shortcut the shortcut in the microwavable society and the internet world, and you have cheated yourself. So with that said, I want you guys to look. Hey, that's the Pom Pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. And we want you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club because my partner tell you everywhere he travels, it's got to be a what? Real talk. This brother don't go nowhere that don't have a beat. So, hey, this is DJ the Money Coach. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. And guess what? Get that ABCs of wealth, the common sense strategy, achieve an American dream, and we'll help you build it. God bless. All right, welcome back to Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. We're talking about tonight's topic, which is very important. It's how to stay quiet and faithful during the storms of life to receive your bountiful blessings. And the Godfather was just telling us a couple of things about how he goes about it and spreading and dropping some major nuggets. So we want to, see how the younger generation, handles it as well. So Nick, chime on in and let us know how you go about, handling these unexpected storms and not reacting the wrong way so you cut off your blessings in life.
Yes, indeed. Well, I mean, much of what I do comes from the elders. Much of what I learned, much of the strategies that I apply comes from you all. So it's not much different. Maybe the way some of these storms appear might be differently, but the way I go about addressing them and handling them is pretty much the same. Just going back to the fundamentals, the foundation. So I want to first talk about that first part of that topic. Learning to stay quiet and why that's important. Because especially when you're going through storms, they can tend to evoke emotion in us, and too often men or just people in general react off of emotion. So taking that time to quiet your mind and listen, that helps to calm those waters. And when I say listen, there's different forms of listening. So DJ, you mentioned consulting with your counsel, with your elders. So you're listening to them. They're giving you that counsel. But you're also spending time in solitude and listening to what your God is telling you, and also what your intuition is telling you also. So that's why the quiet and why that quiet time is important. Because you're listening to your counsel, but you're also spending that time in solitude and quieting all the noise around you, so you can listen to your inner self and that power that's bigger than you and above you. And the other thing about calming yourselves and staying quiet and faithful. Another lesson that I take away from that I often apply is looking for the lesson in it. Because it's not to think about, why is this happening to me? The important thing to think about is, what should I learn, from this experience? Because there's a lesson in everything. And it's also a matter of perspective too. Understanding that, there may be favorable and not so favorable things that happen in our lives, or storms that come up, but it's just a matter of perceiving those events as just things, and remembering how much power you have to determine in what ways and how will those storms affect you. You have that potential, and you have that power within you to decide on that. It's not the events that's happening that's going to dictate, your emotions or how you should feel about that. You decide on your own how you're going to feel about those storms that appear in your life. So that's my perspective on handling those storms that come up in my life.
Those wiser words never been spoken by youngsters. So, one of the things I like to address in our community is we have the false indoctrination that you shouldn't reach out for help. There's always the joke that says, like, when a man and his wife are, driving somewhere on a trip, the man never takes advice about directions. Thank good we have GPS now. But if it's a woman voice, the man might not believe her either. But with all jokes aside, it is actually strength in asking for help. Showing that, you need help actually endears people to you, and actually shows that you're a real man. And matter of fact, a real woman, because you have no ego. And ego stands for evil going on. So what I would encourage young men specifically, if you are in a storm right now, don't worry about being judged, because here's the reality. Everybody has gone into some type of storm, and the way they handle it is different than most. And the ones that are always the ones that seem perfect, they got the most problems. You'll find out that they're so have all this angst and all these challenges internally, and they're projecting this totally opposite, image, that they're the ones that jump off of cliffs. They're the ones who kill people. They're the ones who rob people, because they're not having a venting or an outlet, because they put this facade up about this perfect image that they can't sustain it forever. And when they have a challenge, they go even more and more perfect mode, if you know what I'm saying. They go higher, spend more, shine more, because they actually got more garbage going on. I mean, how many times you see, I'll give you an example. What was that black official down in Georgia who got caught up in a hotel with a man? And he was, before that, the Democratic, star. Yeah, I think this was about a year or two ago. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he couldn't do no wrong. He was the perfect. They projected him that he was running for governor, and then they were projected that he was going to be the next, Obama. And it turns out this dude was just as messed up as all get up, and he went on a binge with a white boy having some homosexual escapades, and then he tried to cover it up, and then he shamed his wife, and she went up there and stood beside him. See, that would have never happened if he would have just looked in the mirror first and said, hey, you know what? I'm pretending to be something I'm not. And then secondly, if he had the ability to reach out to, Godfather Harris, and sit down and tell him, you know what? The trappings of the world, what are they worth if you lose your soul? So in our community, by we watching all these mafia movies, gang movies, listen to this satanic hip hop and everything, these young men are getting a false bravado that violence and stubbornness is manhood. No, that's not manhood. That's the completely opposite. That's boyhood at the end of the day. So the first message I want you, young men that are watching this, and young ladies that are watching this, to say, hey, you know what? It's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to not be worried about somebody judging you, because here's the reality. That person have their storms. And when they got out of those storms, somebody helped them out. So that's the first thing that we got to learn is ask for help. The second thing is what we also have to do is take the emotion out and just stop and stay still for a second. Because unless you are like literally somebody killing you, literally, you don't have to make a panic decision. And then you can gather that information, and then you can go to a business, perspective, which men are good at being solution providers. You can now look at this, the raw data, and come up with a good decision because you stayed still. First, you asked for help. Then you stayed still. Then you looked at the data, and then you put it all together and you made a wise decision. And now it's kind of like the old game show where they have the three doors. I forgot, was it The Price is Right or whatever? Door number one, door number two, door number three. So what God is doing these storms, he's actually seeing what your character is. What is your true heart? And just like they said, I think it was David. David said, hey, God, he said, you can have any wish you want. And he said, hey, God, I just wish for wisdom and understanding. And when he did that, God said, you know what? Since you chose the right way, David, wisdom and understanding, I'm going to give you everything else. I'm going to give you money. I'm going to give you kingdoms and everything, because most people would have asked for the money and the fame and the fortune. But you said, give me wisdom and understanding. So that would be the second thing that I would encourage you to do, is to ask for wisdom and understanding. Drop down on your knees. And like Godfather said, meditate. I don't care if your God is Jesus Christ, if it's Buddha, if it's, Allah, drop down on your knees in submission. And what submission means, ladies and gentlemen, it means sub means under. Mission means control, literally. That's the literal translation. So when you put submission together, that means under control for a common goal. It doesn't mean, ladies, subservient. Servient means you're under somebody's thumb. I don't know how many times women specifically get this wrong. Immediately when they think they got to report or listen to a man, they immediately say, oh, I'm not going to be in submission. But guess what? If you're in submission, you're under control for the same common cause. But if you're under subservient, you're somebody's slave. So I'm going to be under control, under the mission. So I'm going to first, ask for help. Second, I'm going to drop to my knees and ask for wisdom and understanding. And then you're going to have your plan that you already had before the storm came about to see which is the right door that God wants you to go through that will be the right choice for you. And there's always a saying, sometimes the deal that you turn down is the best deal you ever made. What do you have to say to that, Godfather?
You got to step back sometime and ask friends, somebody else to help you. Ask for the wisdom. And that's normally what I do. But some things are going on in my life that I'll talk to my friends about it. Because like I said, I'm surrounded by people who have the knowledge to say, hey, Ryan, look at it this way, look at it that way. Because they've been through it too. And like I said, man, we're going to have storms. I mean, as you get older, you know how to weather the storms a lot better than you do when you're young, because experience teaches you one thing. And sometimes I have to step out of my body and look at myself and start judging. What made you so successful to get where you're at today, Ryan? And go back and look at when you had those bad times, how did you handle it then? So then you say, okay, damn, I've been here, did this. What am I really concerned about? Because like you said, if you got that faith, and see, that's why God is so easy to understand. Because I make it simple to people. Good. If everything was good, it would never be nothing bad. So the thing is, when I know that my friends are there, it's not necessarily got to give me money or some people. Because I try not to put that kind of pressure on people, because I know if they have the overhead that I have, although I might have money flowing, but when that overhead is big, it's not coming and trying to maintain all that, your taxes and a lot of the things that go along with being owning land or a home or whatever, and the upkeep and things. But we get beyond that because, like I said, faith carry us so far. Because, like I said, you step back and look at the other years and you ask God to, help me out of this. You ask your friends to give me some advice about how to get out of this. And they were there then. And most likely, if you've been good, they'll be there with you in the future too when you have those problems. And like I say, Dale, that's why you should be man or woman enough to have the courage. And I'm not embarrassed when things aren't going on for me. Why would I be embarrassed? Because if you know me, you know what I'm about. You know that if it gets tight, I'm about to make it right again. And that's what your friends are there for, and that's why I love my friends because they know me, and I feel so comfortable with them. They give me the strength. They give me the spirit. Because I'm going to deal with friends that have those same values that I have. And we put ourselves around people with the same values, we tend to always be able to sail throughout any storm. Because we raise ourselves and say, look, you know what? I can spread my wings because I got some support on me flying. Because see, you can fly, you can walk across water, you got the right people to go with. And that's the key. Who your team is. And I mean, like I said, some people, man, I try so hard, man, not to put a financial burden on individuals. And if I got it to share, and that's what my whole goal is about. The more I build, I try to help my family and friends around me when people have said, Ron, can we do this, that, and other? And like I said, time has put me in a comfort zone with how to deal with those storms. Because if you really truly have that faith in yourself, the faith in your friends, and especially that spiritual side about you, because the spiritual side about you teaches one thing: put it in God's hand. If you really believe that's what you said, put it in God's hand because that's the good, and all those people around you carry that good that surround you, that make things come in a positive way. Because feeling good about yourself is when you really feel that you've contributed things to the point where people are going to support you because of your heart, your spiritual side, and the fact that you've been a builder rather than someone trying to destroy. And because the storm going to come. We're going to have tornadoes and hurricanes and snow. It's all about how people regroup from it. And I thank God that He's blessed me to stay ahead of the game because, like, you guys know I'm an old G man. That 74th birthday is only a couple months away. And you're almost getting to a point where you say, dang, I'm still here. I'm blessed to be pretty healthy. I mean, I have a few health issues, but nothing that takes that energy away from me to continue to try to take care of the body. I don't eat that damn great. I eat decent. I eat some vegetables and do a few things, but I'm not going to sit there. So all those things, how we eat, how we think, all that's part of getting older and how we handle it. But like I said, the key to being man is the heart that I have with my friends, because right now that's the only thing I really enjoy. Because like materialistic things, I've had that, and I was thinking about the other day. I said, Ron, you had, but what value that really has? Because it's only for you. But if it's not out there where you're sharing and caring with your friends, what are you doing with it? Because you only enjoy those cars and big homes, and you have other people around you to enjoy it with. Because you can sit there by yourself. You can have all the money in the world if you're by yourself. What good is it? So, being by yourself with a lot of money, what good is that? Having all these things, nobody don't come see you because they don't like you? What? So if you could share and care that, just think how beautiful it would be to have those possessions where you can also share that with your friends.
Right, all right. Beautiful. Yeah, excellent wisdom right there. And right before we go to break, I'll add on to that about going to your friends, talking to your friends. Again, DJ and I, we mentioned the counsel, and I want to talk about discernment. When it comes to speaking with your friends. So you're choosing your inner circle, the ones who are closest to you. That's using discernment and going to who expressing yourself about the storms that you're going through. You know, you're using discernment. You know, so that's another thing to keep in mind, because a lot of men, especially young men, they are concerned about the judgment. You know, they feel that if they go to certain folks, you know, they'll judge them, they'll attack their manhood. But you have to ask yourself, does that mean that you don't seek help? Or does that mean that you need to reevaluate who you're calling a friend, or who you're calling your girlfriend or your woman? You know, if that has to be a concern, or if there's been a pattern of that person attacking you for coming to them for help, maybe you need to reevaluate your relationship with that person rather than questioning whether you should seek out help. So I don't know if any of the fellas want to chime in on that point before we go to break, but that was my 2 cents on that.
You know, you make a great point. Look like Godfather had something. Unmute yourself, Godfather.
But it's so valuable because it breaks down to who you're associating with. Because that's why you don't have to worry about it. You got the right people in your life. They can, I mean, you can get hit by like I said, tornado, hurricane, and things might be torn down, but with the right crew, it's going to be rebuilt really, really fast and quick. Because, I mean, I don't understand why some people stay in New Orleans or stay in the Tornado Alley and all, you know, and down with the hurt. And, every year, they shit's getting torn up. But for some reason, they believe in where they're at, and they believe in the fact that they got, and they always rebuild. So I think until we die, if you got the right people in your life, you never, gonna have, you're not gonna die until your eyes close your eyes and you go 6 under. Because as long as you're up here, you don't necessarily be dying out and losing your mind to the point. And we get challenged, and like I said, I was challenged because I couldn't understand why, you get so used to negotiating things, and then when you can't because people just don't want to respond, quite understand. But I'm gonna let you go to break there, Nick. But what you said, man, has a lot of value to it.
All right. Yes. Thank you for that. So yes, when we come back, we'll wrap everything up, put a nice bow on this powerful conversation we've been having. So if you're just tuning in, you've been watching Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. And we don't have to say if you're enjoying this conversation, because we know you're enjoying this conversation. So since we know you're enjoying this conversation, go ahead and like the video and share it, with all your friends and family and your networks out there, and subscribe to the 7 Spheres of Money. So we'll be back in just a minute. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm DJ the Money Coach. Don't touch that dial. You want to become financially independent? You want to have consumer debt freedom? You want to have passive income, learn how to build a business, acquire real estate, and achieve the lifestyle you deserve in 2021? Well, hit that link below right now. We've worked with over 20,000 people in the past 2 decades, helping them become consumer debt free, increase their credit scores by 30 to 60 points in 30 days or less, and help them acquire businesses through real estate, taxes, and a network of experts just like me. So you'll get a complete 3-hour, 18-module course called Family Finance 101, that'll teach you A to Z how to become consumer debt free, credit worthy, and it puts you in position to become a certified entrepreneur. We'll also give you a complimentary consultation with me that's a $500 value. Why would you want to do that? Because I have already achieved that, and I can help you achieve your American dream in 2021. Hit the link below, get the free webinar and the complimentary consultation, and I'll see you soon and wish you a pom-pom lifestyle that's plenty of money and peace of mind. Come join us.
Toledo organic tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth. It's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase. Now, let's start. All right. Welcome back to Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. And we're just wrapping up this conversation on how to stay quiet and faithful during the storms of life to receive your bountiful blessings. So I'm going to toss it back over to DJ so we can go ahead and wrap this amazing conversation up.
Yeah, this is an important topic. And, the other thing that you want to do is your network. You have to have your, what I call spidey sense. So if you're part of your network and you chose your friends, very well, and you're going through the great times and you are not paying attention to some of your friends that you just all of a sudden don't hear from, here's what I encourage you to do. I encourage you to once a week, pick up the phone, hit a text, just touch bases, which is another thing that we don't do enough of, especially men, because this is that machoism, that bravado, which is all false. Hey, reach out and say, hey, man, how's everything going, man? Just checking in on you. So one of the things that, I like to do, and, when Godfather was going through his challenge, hey, man, I made myself available because he's always available for me. I hopped on a plane and I went to go see the Godfather and see what I could be of assistance to him. And if the Godfather, said he didn't need any help, I let him know, hey, man, I'm here for you because you've been here for me. And I mean, probably like 18 months ago, I remember the Godfather gave me some sage advice on some investment property, which was right on point when I was about to drop some serious coin. And the Godfather said, hey, man, don't drop that money right now. There's going to be another bigger, better opportunity for you. And that was a good opportunity, but there was a better opportunity. The Godfather was right about that. And so that's one thing we have to do more of as men. Women do this very well. They constantly chatting it up with each other, a lot, sometimes too much. But on the opposite end, we don't do it enough because, again, we got this bravado. And generally, when you are a high character guy, which we are, a lot of times we're the go-to guy for the people in our network. You know what I'm saying? We're the ones that get things done, always helping people out. So those people never even think that we need help. So in my inner network, all my guys are those kind of guys. I picked them wisely. After I figured out 20, 30 years ago, I was running with the wrong pack. I was a leader of a bunch of, betas. But then I realized, hey, I'm an eagle. I started soaring with the eagles. But I also learned that, those eagles even need, time to take a break. So here's another thing. Reach out. Hey, what's going on, Godfather? What's going on, Nick? And if they say, hey, man, everything's good, say, hey, man, everything really good with you? Because remember, I'm in your inner circle. You can trust me. There's no judgment. This is a free, open platform and it's confidential, discretionary. Anything you share with me is going to stay with me. You tell me something, I'm going to take it to the grave. So that's where you have to commit to making that covenant with your life, partners. And we don't do enough of that. And I'm just blessed that I have been blessed to have the Godfather in my life, Nick in my life, Eric in my life, the people like that, Roland in my life, Jason in my life. I've got some great people that I can live, and I've been knowing these people, Melvin in my life. And if I miss somebody, I apologize, Troy, stuff like that. So these people I've developed relationships with over the past 20, 30 years that we've gone through similar challenging things and we came out on top and our lives got better. So now that, lack of a better term, we were in the foxhole together. There's a saying that you don't really know somebody till you're in a disagreement with them. And if you're in a disagreement with them based on principles, then you need to actually, terminate that relationship. But if you're in a disagreement with them based on personality, then you can always make a better relationship. And so having had that experience, if you lost some money, somebody had miscommunication, but principally you guys are on the same page, things always work out. So that's one thing you can learn from this storm that you're currently in. And then when you get out of the storm, and then that rainbow shows up, which if you don't know the significance of the real rainbow significance was God said, I'm never going to flood the earth ever again. There's going to be nothing but sunshine for you. And that's my promise to our covenant. So in this covenant, if I'm on the rainbow side, then I want to reach out and say, hey, Godfather, how's it going? Nick, how's it going? And if they give me that, hey, man, good, I can look at that and I know, hey, good, then, hey, we're going to keep it moving, go back to our life and turn back to the regular channel. So I would say, again, first, you got to reach out, and find the right person to talk to. You got to meditate, get down on your knees, and pray. And then you can't be ashamed to ask for help. And then you also got to be a helper. Don't, as one of my other mentors say, hey, man, if you always coming to the dinner table and you always taking food, you're not going to be welcome back to the table. So you might find yourself in your storm and nobody's around to help you because guess what? You're a taker. And guess what? I used to be that guy. I'm not going to lie about it. I grew up, from 0 to like 30, man. I was a taker. Because you know what? Coming out of a raw community and, thinking that everything is against me, I had to go out there and take. But that don't work all the ways. And it always never has a great outcome. So you got to now become a giver and a helper. And that's, again, in our community, especially with young Black men, we don't get that because it's, hey, man, I got to go out here and conquer the world. I got to do all this stuff. But the reality is, hey, man, be a giver. Be twice a blessing than you take. And you will have people in your corner for the rest of your life. That's important. So the Godfather is saying, chime in on that, Godfather.
It'd be enough for everybody. See, when everybody's taken, there's nothing left on the table. This is like anything else in our life that once it runs out, how can you get it back again? So if everybody's giving, it's nothing but knowledge. See, people keep on thinking gifts have to always be monetarily. No. I mean, money is a tool that we use. And nothing beat knowledge, like you said earlier, Dale. I mean, knowledge is such king because with knowledge, you know how to live your life and how to treat other people. See, I mean, just like we had a president was, supposed to have this dynamic education. I mean, went to Ivy League school, but was an idiot when it came to this common sense and how to treat people. So having money and having education, you can still be an ignorant fool. And I mean, people tend to think because of their educational background or that they're super rich, that it makes them a wise man and more powerful man that everybody should look up to. No, that does not make you the money. And it's how people feel about you. What type of value system that you have. Credibility. All those things make you worthy of people, accolades that they're giving you. You deserve to have them. But if you're a taker, and not giving, you're not a man or you're not a woman. You're the devil. Plain up. I mean, because see, we got God. God is good, the devil's bad. So if you're bad, you got to follow that devil kind of territory. Because God ain't no in between. He's good. And if you're bad, you're the devil. And there ain't no in between the bad. Then you're just bad. Okay? And we all make mistakes and all that. But if that's just growing up. But if your program and your lifestyle is to take all the time and run game, come on, you're a devil. It's not about that. Life is simple, but we make it complicated because people want to keep on adding on an adjective that don't even make fucking sense at all, or just, So, I've had a beautiful time, gentlemen. Let's do this again soon.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that great things that spouse. So I'm gonna give a recap on what you should do to get out of these storms the right way and don't thwart your blessings. So the first thing is be quiet. That's the first thing. Be quiet. Okay. The second thing you want to do is you want to seek counsel. Seek counsel from your inner circle. That's important. And then you want to look at the information and not make an emotional heart decision. You want to make a brain decision. Then the fourth thing is you got to be humble, swallow your pride, and seek help. And then the fifth thing is and this is probably the most important thing is be grateful. This might sound strange to you. Be grateful for the challenge that God has given you right now, because he's testing you and actually to provide you with a blessing that may not be a blessing for you personally, but it may be a blessing for your children's children's children. Because if you learn how to handle that situation, that storm, your children don't have to go through it. Your family doesn't have to go through it. And I'll give you two examples of that. So, God made the Israelites go around Mount Sinai for 40 years because they were stupid. They didn't listen. And out of the people who they sent on reconnaissance, they sent 12, 20 people out to go check out the land of milk and honey. And 2 came back and said, hey, man, we can take them guys. The rest of them said, man, we can't do it. Them dudes are giants and everything. And those 2 that said we can do it, Joshua and Caleb, nobody listened to them. So God sent them around Mount Sinai for 40 years, and it was only like 3 to 7 miles because they lacked humility. They lacked gratitude. You know what I'm saying? And then the one you were talking about, Ron, you can be the guy that's the king and got all the gold, like Midas. But then you could be like Joseph and be thrown in jail, put in Potiphar's house, and because you were faithful, because you were quiet, you were helpful, and you were grateful that your brothers sold you off into slavery, you end up becoming the second in command in all of Egypt. Think about that. And even when Potiphar's wife tried to, lie about Joseph and said that he fornicated with her, Potiphar believed him because he was an honest and a righteous man in all storms. God didn't send him through one storm. He sent him through multiple storms. But he handled the situation the right way. So I want to recap again. So first thing is be quiet. Be quiet. Don't rush. Don't panic. Second thing is, seek counsel, help from those people in your network that you chose properly. The third thing is now give the data and see what God is trying to share with you for the blessing. And the fourth thing is don't be afraid to ask for help. And then also on the side of that, which I failed to recap, is actually if you're part of that network, you reach out and offer help. Be a helpmate. And then the fifth thing is be grateful in the challenge, because the challenge is only a disguise of an opportunity. Does that make sense? And then now that storm would not be a storm for your family. It won't be a storm for your children's children, and they won't have to deal with that. And in essence, in the Black community, especially with the lack of leadership in men, you don't realize that the pathology of negative outcomes continue to manifest for generations and generations because you didn't have that leadership ability to step in the gap and change the pathology for your family. And I'm speaking personally. I'm speaking what I decided to do when I saw a lot of negative in my family. I decided to be that guy to step in the gap and change the pathology for my family so that my children's children would have the blessings that we deserve. And that was a decision that I made that was hard, but it was the right decision. So with that said, I'm turning over to Nick.
Yeah. And you've been here before. DJ just mentioned that the Israelites, they were faced with multiple storms. And just like that, we've been faced with multiple storms, over time. So you've been through the storm before. And, you just need to remember to go back to your foundation. The way that you get through the storm is the same way you got through the storm before. It's just keeping that faith that knowing that you got through that storm before, you'll get through it this time, and you'll continue to get through these storms as they come up. And you can rest assured that the storms will come. There's no avoiding the storms. So since you know that they're going to come, always come back to that foundation. Come back to that list of 5 or 6 steps that DJ just went over. Write down those steps, post those steps up. So you have that. So you're reminded immediately this is what you need to do to get through these storms, and also you'll be receiving your blessing. Your children's children will be receiving your blessings. And at the end of the day, you'll also become a better man or woman, because facing these storms, getting through these storms, build character. So that's the last thing that I'll leave off on this topic.
Oh yeah, so let me chime in and just wrap it up. I had to get up and just say good night to my daughters. So yeah, so at the end of the day, that's what we need to do. So I'm gonna just recap for you guys again, because here's what you need to know. This is life. You either going into a storm or coming out of a storm in every aspect of our lives. So if it's a shiny, beautiful day and your whole year has been great, there's a storm on the horizon. So that's that humility part. That's where, I think it was Peter had the thorn in his side to remind him, that, stay humble. So remember that. Again, you either going into a storm or coming out of a storm. So if you're enjoying a lot of great things going on in your life, be prepared for the unexpected. Okay? And with that said, the 5 things you should do: first, be quiet. Don't panic. That's the first thing. Second thing is seek counsel from your network, if you chose the right network. And if you haven't chose the right network, we can give you some tools to teach you how to choose the right network. One of them is, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. So you can discern what leaders are. Well, like President Lincoln used to say, people can teach you 2 things. Bad people can teach you what not to do. Good people can teach you what to do. So if you come from a single family home, you were adopted, and you never had a good, strong black man role model, look to the ones that are in front of you in books, on right platforms that are doing the things, and live vicariously through the principles. Emulate the principles that they are, demonstrating in their lives. Don't use that as an excuse. If you know the difference between right and wrong and you got your health, don't use that as a cop-out. Okay? I hate that in our community specifically. We always got a cop-out, but we healthy and we make bad choices, and we keep making bad choices, and we playing the blame game. But you have your health and you know the difference between right and wrong. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. Okay? Real talk. So now take that data and now break that data down and look at it just from a scientific, approach. And then the 4th thing is, don't be bravado, manchizo, that I don't need help. Ask for help. And on the opposite side of that coin, if you're in the network, then help. Do a checkup from the neck up with your crew. Even if they appear to be doing everything well, hey, just call in. Hey, Nick. Hey, Godfather, man, how's everything going? Look them in the eye, go take a visit from them and make sure they solid. And then when you do that, count your blessings. Count what God has done well in your life up to that storm, so that those blessings can become, long-term blessings, not for you, but for your children's children. And the big word today is pathology. So if you don't know what pathology means, look it up. That basically means that your lineage is going on a pattern that just continue to reproduce itself. And it can be a bad pattern, but somebody has to step in the gap. And usually that person steps in the gap is the one's going to take all the heat, and they know the heat is coming on them. So they're not looking for the physical and the monetary outcome, but they're looking for the long-term play for their children's children. And that's manhood in essence. So that's what you have to be able to do. So this is the model, this is the blueprint, and this is the recipe for you to be able to deal with the storms of life and come out with the blessings, so that you pick the right door. And as Nick said, have discernment. And as Godfather said, be good and have a great attitude in everything that you do. So that's the most important part, is the attitude as well. So Godfather, you want to chime in, because we're out of here. We're wrapping up, but that's the lessons for today.
Job tonight explaining to those out there that's listening to the factor that we're real people, and we have ups and downs like everybody else does, and we want to try to maintain that network among good people around us, men, women, kids, seniors, whoever. But I'm glad that to be back tonight because I've had to do a few things that I needed to take care of, but that's I'm not gonna say behind me, but it's something that's been solved for the particular time because storms gonna continue to come. It's this how we deal with them, and I thank God because I was able to deal with this one. Took a little time, and because when you have a full plate, it's a trip when sometimes it started leaking just a little bit. All right, gentlemen, I'll see you next week.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, on behalf of Nick Westbrooks, on behalf of the Godfather, Ron Harris, I'm DJ the Money Coach, and we thank you for watching today's most important episode, which is probably our most important one ever, and watch it in the replay again, how to stay quiet and faithful during the storms of life to receive your bountiful blessings. So, on behalf of you, we thank you for watching the program. We thank you for liking. We thank you for sharing. We thank you for subscribing. And I would say get us to 5 men that you know and give it to 5 women that you know, because this is something that y'all should sit down and share together. And at the end of the day, we have to complete each other and have an interdependent relationship, not a codependency relationship or a subservient relationship. We need to have a submission relationship with just order and control so our families can be better off in the future. So we wish you a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. And we want you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club, because your beach may not be water and sand. Your beach should be anywhere you can find peace and tranquility, so you can have the right you and not a second-rate somebody else. So you've been watching Bet on Black, the men, the family, the legacy. I'm DJ the Money Coach. Thank you. Tune in again next time. God bless, and we'll see you on the right side.
I would highly recommend DJ the Money Coach's program because it gives you a 14-page comprehensive financial education plan. And not only does this plan cover your debt analysis, they give you insight into your debt freedom, what you need to do to get debt free, as well as what you need to do in order to retire and how much you will have when you retire.
As I was reading this, I was expecting something a little different. I thought it was going to be all nuts and bolts, because that's the kind of guy Dale is. Dale is all about the numbers, the numbers, the numbers. Well, this book turned out to be both a little bit of nuts and bolts, but a lot of motivation. So if you're someone that's on the fence, looking to get started, just trying to figure out how to do something or what to do, get motivated to get off that couch, I recommend you pick up this book. It's going to get you to move.
He explained to me how to get rid of my student loans, my old student loans that I thought were just insurmountable. He helped me with strategies to reduce my expenses that don't make me feel like I'm sacrificing anything. And it's not the same information that you find like rehashed and repackaged for the internet. It's personalized advice. It considers your current situation, where you are, your goals, and your level of comfort. We put together a realistic plan of things that I can do immediately, things over the next few months, the next year, and then long term.
Hello, my name is Tim from Southern California. Just want to give a testimony for DJ the Money Coach. Just had a recent consultation with him over the face-to-face Zoom call, and gave me some valuable insight as far as financially wise and how to move forward with my life. And we'll recommend him to anybody and everybody if they want to improve their life financially as well. So definitely, again, nothing but great services and feedback. What I've received thus far from DJ the Money Coach, and I advise anybody and everybody about his services. Thank you.